I went to Quanzhou, Fujian, China on October 26 to November 3, 2019 with my folks to visit relatives. An interesting I noticed that trip was the sudden mushrooming of these power bank docks and rental stations. There were already a few when I went in 2018, but not as many as 2019. They were everywhere though by 2019. I thought it was cool and documented as much of it whenever I saw it. Day 2, October 27, 2019. Goldfish Lane is a brick-lined street of little shop houses that were converted from traditional homes. One of the little open gates at the end of the alley leads to the back entrance of the Confucius Temple of Quanzhou. I've been here last year, but through the front entrance, I didn't realize that you can access the back of the temple complex. It's not a solo temple building, but more of a complex incorporating a park and little red brick structures. I'll link to my 2018 video in the description below if you want to just see the Confucius Temple. I didn't go into the actual temple building anymore this trip. I just walked around the park temple complex shooting the cool traditional Chinese architecture. There's this cool little stream leading back out to the back entrance, and then you're out into Goldfish Lane again. Check out this cool little spinning sign for honey cats. Not sure what kind of joint this is. And then check out this actual cat. Around noon, we headed to this place called Chongwu. It's kind of like outside the downtown city parts of Quanzhou, not too far, maybe 40-45 minutes out. Ate at this little local diner. It's known for this hand-pounded meatball or fishball thing. And then we checked out the ancient town part of Chongwu. It used to be surrounded by 4 gates, and the side entrance is called the Water Gate. That's where we entered it from. The wall is pretty cool. It looks like the wall of a fort. Apparently there's a nunnery inside and some kind of temple. Lots of millennials and Gen Z sketching and painting. There are actual modern-day residents in this ancient town too, like this neat house. This vehicle looks like a hybrid tricycle plus minibus. Back to the modern part outside the ancient town, close to the main street-ish area where the diner we went to was. Photographed these cool boats parked during low tide. Afterwards, checked out the hotel behind all the boats. Here's another power bank rental station. You can see from the logo if it has a lightning cable or a cable for Android phones. It didn't specify though if it's micro USB or USB-C. There's a sandy beach in the back of the hotel. The frontage is pretty big. It was a little windy and chilly in late October though. When I exited the hotel, I saw this tour bus with a luggage compartment door open and a little toy model house on display. We drove around 20 minutes or so to another sandy stretch of public beach. It's rockier here and the sand has a different texture. There are some women gathering rocks and stones and sand by hand, I suppose for construction. Not so clear if it's free to take or what. These Hui'an ladies wear this kind of headgear in their head and supposedly speak a different language. There were more boats parked on the sand here, although these are older and rustier than the ones I showed earlier. These are parked on the pavement where I stood to photograph the Hui'an ladies gathering their construction materials. Back in the actual city of Quanzhou, we visited our relative's favorite neighborhood seafood joint for dinner. We had what we call kikiam in the Philippines. It's super popular here. Well, here in the Philippines. In Chinese, they call it guigeng. It's a kind of fried roll with mixed ground meat and fish inside. But in Quanzhou, or at least how our relatives order the dish, they always pair it with something called fried vinegar pork or toma. In the Philippines, you don't pair it with that. Just eat it solo. Outside the restaurant, on the sidewalk, there's yet another power bank rental station. This is of a different design from the ones branded anchor boxes that I showed previously. These power banks are inserted in slots from the top. Day 3, October 28, 2019. Went to this dining entertainment complex called Live Show Wonderland. Here is some interesting vending machine products. Here's yet another power bank rental station. This green and white dock is a different design from the last few I've shown. This power bank rental station beside the vending machine has 16 slots. Here are two 12-slot ones stacked above each other. And here's two more with multiple slots, unique design different from the previous few. The one on the right even has a touchscreen. You pay for the rental with your phone's mobile wallet apps. We had lunch at this place across the 7-7 convenience store. This is clay pot rice with a bit of Chinese sausage. Also had this cheese gratin rice dish. Here's another set of two power bank rental stations stacked atop each other. This Energy Monster one is another tall boy. This has built-in cables, as you can see, for both iPhone and Android phones. This next one with the pastel green power banks is unique. They're front load slots but vertical like a bookcase. There's more here. This place looks kind of dead because I went at noon. It normally comes alive at night or so, I've been told. Most of the pedicab configurations in Quanzhou look like the ones here in the Philippines, where the bike is beside the carriage, but some have the bike placed in front of the carriage. Next, we went to East Lake Park. It's basically a park with a lake called East Lake. There's a little fish feeding area. You pay to feed it with fish food in this baby milk bottle. The orange fish look huge, like mutants. There are these foot pedal powered boats. Some have this chicken head design. There's also some neat Chinese architecture in the park. Day 4, October 29, 2019. This is the 6-slot top-load Energy Monster powerbank dock of the hotel we stayed in. We went to Westlake Park this day. I've been here before, super briefly in 2018. You can see footage of it if you watch last year's trip log. I'll link to it below. But this time I got to walk most of it. It's a really huge park with multiple entrances and structures, and of course, the Westlake it's named for. A lot of these Chinese tourist spots involve stair climbing, like this traditional building. Each of the 4 sides of this building has a different sign. There's this cool multicolored dragon detail in the corner of the rooftops. I think it's made of tiles. I went down a different set of stairs from the one I used to climb up. This set faces the lake. This park is pretty big, and there aren't a lot of people, pretty peaceful. I'm not exactly sure what these circular things in the water are for. There's this UFO-shaped orange structure across the water. There's a few people kite surfing. Had a mini picnic there for lunch with my relatives. Then took this little minibus to the temple complex. I've also been here before last year. Check out the link below for additional footage in my 2018 blog. This is Carreño Temple along West Street. West Street has a lot of cool little shops and street food, and one of the temple exits lead directly to it. This is West Street. Went up the rooftop of this little government tourist center to take photos of the West Street skyline. Back on the ground, a lot of the small eateries and street food in West Street are slowly opening closer to sunset. Despite the presence of a lot of mopeds and scooters, the street was pretty quiet, unlike the Philippines or Taiwan, because these were all electric scooters. The bad thing is they're so quiet, sometimes I don't know they're right behind me already. The good thing is they have a very low maximum speed, so if they do hit me, I don't think I'll die, just get injured. West Street also has quaint little alleys with more surprises in them. This is a sign for Old Station Lane. It's unclear what kind of station this place is. I can't really understand the sign, but it seems like it used to be an important lane. This is a food cart selling lumpia cai, which we also eat in the Philippines, but I guess was invented here. Just a bunch of random stuff wrapped in spring roll type paper. I'm not really a fan of this lumpia snack. First of all, they tend to wrap it up really big and it gets soggy after a while since there's so much stuff inside. The wrapper is really thin too, so if you try to eat it with your hands, the entire thing falls apart. If you eat it on a plate and cut it with a knife, the internal contents all spill out. One of the little alleys lead to this little hipster food park for Gen Z and millennials. Here's some power bank rental stations beside and above an oven toaster. People also live here. It's not just a purely commercial area. Here's a unique power bank rental station. I haven't seen this design yet so far on this trip. I guess they rent the space and electricity for this spot from the house owner. Here's yet another alley that leads to this mysterious 70s, 80s style compound that kind of looks like a horror movie mental asylum set. There is apparently a cafe on the rooftop of this mysterious building. The roofs of the houses on West Street all look so cool. They're made of bricks. There are these little tent-like pods that are quite Instagrammable. This rooftop cafe clearly knows how to cater to social media-loving hipster youths. Since I'm not one of those, I just stood near the fence and took photos of the Quanzhou skyline at sunset. I'm not sure if the church is Catholic or Protestant. The facade looks like it's made of tiles. There's more power bank rental docks inside the cafe. There's the Caiyuan Temple overlooking the West Street skyline. I don't know why there's a cloth-draped bathtub by the window of this cafe or what the theme of this decor is. It looks like they're trying to do fairy theme crossed with ethnic crossed with natural rustic. We had dinner after somewhere walking distance from West Street. I got a sausage after because I wasn't a fan of this triangular rice thing. They don't give you any mustard, but it's very good. It doesn't need condiments. The shredded white stuff in the background is not sauerkraut. I thought it was, so I got a bunch and it turned out really bland. I'm not really sure if it's radish or something. Day 5, October 30, 2019. Had lunch at this little street diner. I like the food in this diner a lot. The servings are small, but you don't feel ripped off as it's so cheap. And because they're small portions, you can try a lot of different things. It's so small, you have to go to the end of the street to pee though. There's no toilet in this place. After that, we went to the maritime Silk Road Art Park. Quanzhou used to be a major port back in the olden days, hence the maritime Silk Road part of the park name. Construction isn't that complete yet, but what's already standing is pretty impressive nonetheless. Next, I went to the famed Stone Lion Pagoda Temple complex. It involved a steep uphill climb from the parking lot to this temple that's not the actual Stone Lion Pagoda. To get to the actual pagoda, you need to climb up more stairs beside this temple. Needless to say, I only checked out the temple and did not bother climbing the stairs anymore to the pagoda. You've seen one pagoda, you've seen them all. There was a whole row of chargers for electric vehicles in the parking lot. I've never seen such things in real life. Looked very futuristic to me, so I shot some footage. Next, we went to the Wudianshi historical replica town in Xinjiang. I've been here before, so if you want to see daytime footage of the place, watch my 2018 vlog that I will link to below. It's basically a replica town of traditional houses of people who lived around Xinjiang in the late 1800s to the early 1900s. It also has restaurants, and that's where we headed to for dinner for some great local food. They even have lomi, this noodle soup with a lot of random stuff mixed in it that we eat a lot of in the Philippines. I like this dish because of all the fried garlic, haha. Here's a power bank rental station beside an old boombox. There's a food hall type area on the second floor serving similar food as the a la carte options downstairs. Day 6, October 31, 2019. We drove to Xiamen, took a little under 2 hours. Had lunch at this little street diner. Despite how street foodie the shop looks, its food costs like normal restaurants. That's not to say it's expensive. It's really good stuff for maybe around $9 to $10 equivalent with thick noodles and very fresh squid and shrimp. But neither is it like $1 to $2 equivalent level street food. I approve of this place because not only is it delicious, they also serve Coke in glass bottles. There's a lunch counter of the various fresh seafood toppings that you can choose to put in your noodles. Clams, oysters, squid, etc. Took photos of some neat local architecture across the eatery. After lunch, we went to the Xiamen Railway Cultural Park. It's a long park that encompasses a huge chunk of ground where trains used to pass. You can still see the railway tracks, although they tiled some parts and paved some parts beside the tracks, so it's easier for pedestrians to walk. There are houses and little shops on both sides of the track. It's not just a pure park. The blue door of this White House is set pretty high up from the ground, unusual. At one point, you'll hit a tunnel, presumably a tunnel that had always been there when trains used to pass these tracks. There are cool photographs and write-ups of the history of the Chinese railway system, from the steam locomotive era to the present day. After the railway park, we headed to this coffee shop near the top floor of the E Mall beside Conrad Hotel, had some snacks and enjoyed the great bird's eye view of Xiamen from here. There were also some power bank rental stations here. Afterwards, we went down to walk the spiral walkway whose top view you see here. It's a huge bridge with a lot of people strolling, taking photos, flying drones, etc. Xiamen isn't actually the capital of Fujian. Many foreigners think it is, especially us back home in the Philippines, as we didn't really think to crack open an atlas, and this was the most famous place in this province that we know of. Plus, for years, flights from Manila fly to the Xiamen International Airport. It was only semi-recently that the Xinjiang International Airport opened and started accepting flights from Manila. We stopped by this temple beside Xiamen University, close to sunset. and then checked out this cold beach nearby after. Then drove back to Quanzhou, had dinner at this street food diner type place. You place your orders outside and then go down the stairs to the little dining area in the basement. Their bestseller is this gossamer thin noodle soup called mi suako, but you can choose various toppings to put on it. We also eat this in the Philippines. Since this is practically just a snack, I had a second dinner in a house that turns into a barbecue joint at night in Goldfish Lane. It's basically someone's ancestral home, that's why the architecture looks so old school. You can pick the stuff that you want to grill from this freezer. They're all on skewers already. Walking home, there's some people listening to this old school band sing songs and play music. I think the lyrics are being flashed on the LED panel on the right side of the door, but I could be wrong. Day 7, November 1, 2019. In the morning, we went to this local temple. It's not really some major tourist attraction. My mother and relatives just wanted to do some temple-y stuff. There was a dog sleeping on the sidewalk. Here's some scenes in the walk back to our relatives' place. Had lunch at their house and said hello to their fat rabbit. I like this photo I took of 3 different types of chairs. This baby stroller is so cool. Had a quick pick-me-up at a little cafe on Goldfish Lane and then went back out to walk around to take photos. Stopped by a local cafe called Local Fish to buy some freshly roasted and ground coffee to bring home. This is a really nice cafe with old school decor like this old barber's chair and a great photo book collection. They roast their single origin beans themselves. It's also nearish to Goldfish Lane but not exactly on it. While walking around, we saw a traditional home that's been converted into an inn, so we stopped by to take a look. And look what I found there, more power bank rental stations. We walked a bit around East and West Street and then had a quick dinner at a little local mall. Day 8, November 2, 2019. Had lunch at this local diner near the hotel. I really like these kinds of street food type joints. Afterwards, stopped for some coffee at Teresa Book Coffee Shop. It was different from the laid-back vibe of Local Fish from Day 7. This place is a serious coffee place. Lady used the Chemex and she's pretty strict about idiotic customers like me clowning around with the camera near the coffee counter, and you have to drink the coffee correctly too. She was very dedicated to the coffee making craft for sure. Super precise coffee preparation. Also very good single origin coffees from various places, and her takeout coffee has drawings of various famous Quanzhou scenes. The place is very quiet, like a library. I think serious coffee academics would love this place. This is the facade of the coffee shop from the other exit. The one I entered from is the Goldfish Lane door. Afterwards, we went to a park that's famous for some rocks or something. I'm not really clear though on what made these rocks noteworthy. The wall is pretty cool. Looks like a fort. There is some body of water that borders one side of the park, and you can see some skyscrapers on the other side. There are also these little vertical cubes with the Chinese surnames engraved on top of them. I'm not sure why some are taller than the others. Does it mean that the taller ones are more famous? More people have that as their last name? Mystery. There are sure a lot of random parks in China. In the afternoon, we headed back to West Street to a little hostel Airbnb type place. The access door is somewhat hidden. You wouldn't know there was a hostel up top if you weren't really looking. You pay them an entrance fee to access the rooftop. Many hip youths were there taking photos. I just took some photos of the sunset and the Quanzhou skyline. At night, we had our farewell dinner in our relative's favorite neighborhood seafood joint again. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Which place or food did you like best? Please comment below. Please thumb up this video if you enjoyed it and subscribe so you'll be updated when I upload again. See you next video!